it's a slow progression. We'll kind of see where it goes. As we look forward to opening day, possibly a low probability of opening day. For saying that, we just want to make sure that he's not rushing this. We want to make sure that he gets this inflammation knocked out and gets back to being Andrew Kittredge. So we don't want to put any timeline or anything in front of him, and kind of just make sure that, similar to Felix, that he's attacking each day to kind of get that inflammation settled.
Oh, that's ominous, like Felix. Felix meaning Felix Bautista, who threw today. That's Craig Albernaz this morning announcing that it's unlikely that Andrew Kittredge will be ready for opening day. So what's old is new again. His last year was a knee. But Andrew Kittredge was not ready for opening day. And here we are this year. They trade for him from the Cubs after trading him to the Cubs. They get him back. So his second year with the Orioles and his second year missing opening day, and a bullpen that we already thought was thin just got a whole lot thinner.
Yeah, and this definitely is a serious problem, Ken. And we were talking about Ryan Helsley yesterday as we continue to kind of preview a lot of the guys that we think will be on the 26-man roster. Obviously, Helsley is going to be their closer, but you brought up the point that because of the concern of this bullpen, Helsley has to bounce back. He can't afford to get off to a poor start and pick up where he left off with the Mets last year, where his ERA was over 7. And now it's even more pressure on Helsley. And Kittredge was going to be that setup guy.
Yeah, high
leverage guy. And his season got off to the late start in mid-May last year with the knee surgery, but then he was able to round into form in Baltimore. They were able to trade him to the Cubs, and he pitched well for the Cubs, and you ended up bringing him back for cash considerations, and you were expecting him to be that setup guy. But the biggest concern when it came to Kittredge is, hey, he's about to turn 36 later this month, and injuries starting to pile up for him, and who knows when we see Andrew Kittredge at this point. Craig Albernaz, he did confirm, even though it's no surprise, Tyler Wells is going to be in the bullpen. And he's going to play a significant role at this point, Ken. Like, is he your setup guy? Is he your serious leverage guy? Because who else would it be?
Well, they have used him as a leverage guy in the past. It's been a minute.
He's a closer.
I guess Yennier Cano. Come on down. Yeah, like this. We thought this bullpen, and granted, full disclosure, when they reacquired Kittredge, I liked it. They made an aggressive early move in the offseason, got a guy who pitched well for a team that made through the playoffs. If the Orioles traded him to the Cubs, he pitched well for the Cubs. Alas, you didn't do a whole lot else to the bullpen, even though we've been sort of begging them to do some more to the bullpen. And now one of your two major bullpen acquisitions is not going to be ready for the start of the season.
I think something that we've really hammered home over the past couple of years is Mike Elias, at times when he's gotten himself in trouble, he's operating on best case scenario. And that was a big reason why we liked the Chris Bassett move. Is he the frontline starter? No, but you know that you can poke holes in the other starting 5. You bring in Bassett because Kyle Bradish, is there going to be an innings restriction? He mentioned that there probably will be. Like, there's so many concerns there. Where Bassett, he's more of that safety net guy, that guy that raises the floor. They didn't do that at all with the bullpen. You brought in Helsley, and operating best case scenario, he's going to be more of that guy that he was 2022 through 2024, which we think will be the case. And then Kittredge, he's older and he was hurt last year. They didn't do anything else to fortify it. And they traded away so many guys at the trade deadline last year out of their bullpen, and they didn't make enough moves. They were relying on the internal options. And yeah, Tyler Wells, you feel really good about, but you're going to need these Wolframs to step up. You're going to need Yennier Cano to recapture the magic of a couple of years ago, or else this bullpen's going to be a serious issue.
You're going to have to count on a bunch of guys we've never heard of to make leaps that don't happen all the time. By the way, Helsley, for what it's worth, just had a 1-2-3 inning spring training baseball against the Astros. Struck out 2. Looked pretty darn good.
And it also gets back to a question that Ben and Cordell asked Mike Elias a couple of weeks ago. Like, there's still a couple of options on the free agent market, but...
Are you surprised Danny Coulombe's still sitting out there?
I am surprised, and maybe that does make you wonder how do the medicals look for him, and that obviously we think was a huge reason why the Orioles didn't pick up his team option.
Yeah.
But
they went with Sino Perez.
Which that worked really well.
Yeah, that was good.
But they need to make a move, Ken. Like, you need to bring in a known commodity into this bullpen.
Here's the part that sucks for them, though. I don't know unless you're picking up a Coulombe, somebody on the street, or a who's the White Sox guy that went to the
Kopech.
Dodgers, Michael Kopech. Unless you sign unless you sign a Kopech or a Coulombe, teams aren't trading you bullpen arms that are value as we sit 3 weeks from opening day. You're just not that's not happening. So your only choice is to scour the wire, which is not really full yet because teams don't have to make cuts. So that's not an option. Or sign a guy out on the street, or overpay for somebody because you're desperate. So but you go with what you got and you cross your fingers that it works.
I've been hammering how concerned I've been about this bullpen all offseason. And I was very surprised that Mike Elias did not do more with it. Now that Kittredge is a major, dude, I'm concerned. I am very concerned about this bullpen. I think they have to do one of those options that you're saying. You have to bring in somewhat of a known commodity.
It's got to be Coulombe or Kopech. Those are
either that or you're overpaying.
Is there another
for a
name?
trade.
By the way, Ben, am I missing anybody? Is there anybody still out there other than those two dudes?
Not really. That as much as it would make sense, and I think they need to, I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they're going to either. Yeah. I'm just saying I think they need to.
No, yeah, absolutely. But they're clearly scared. And again, for Coulombe and Kopech, other teams are telling you with what they think as well. But now we're going to see the Wolfram,
who's had a really good spring.
And there's talk that if anybody else got their hands on him, they'd be very excited. If he gives you a good April and looks really good early on, it could be a benefit. You know what Kittredge is going to give you when he gets back. Sure. I'm not too worried about any of that. But just having another reliable lefty arm. Wolfram is going to get some run. It's probably going to be some leverage spots for him. If you can figure that out, maybe you feel a little bit better as the year goes on.
I'm just worried about Kittredge's availability. I don't think this is going to be okay. He's going to start the year on the 10-day IL and he's going to come back. I think, would it surprise me if this is May? That's what it was last year. And last year he came back sooner than we thought after the knee surgery. But I don't know how quick of a stay on the IL it's going to be.
And to that, when he was in Tampa, it was a lot of this concern, question marks. Then he goes to St. Louis and was perfectly fine. And they were like, all right, well, maybe that's not the case. And now he's back to dealing with some injuries.
Yep, 2 years in Baltimore, 2 injuries to start the season for the Orioles. He does not appear in an opening day, at least unlikely to appear in an opening day. By the way, speaking of likely, can I just get this out there? So Isaiah Likely's doing a car wash interview tour. He was on your friend Kay Adams' show this morning.
I wish we were friends.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
Yeah,
once they signed Mark Andrews, he did this whole has he spoken to the coach? He's going to get paid and go somewhere else. They tried to sign him a year ago. They couldn't get it done. They pivoted to Andrews, whether you like it or not. They're not paying 2 tight ends $10+ million.
No, and I saw some people on Twitter. You mentioned the lunatic fringe. Whoa, why didn't you use the franchise tag on?
Because again, you're not paying 2 tight ends $10+ million.
When Andrews re-signed in December, and we all were very surprised when that happened. That was it for Isaiah Likely, and I fully expect Isaiah Likely to do really well elsewhere and really realize his potential that, quite frankly, he never did here.